Everyone, welcome to Brain Hive Academy, your one-stop for innovative workspace. On today's section, we are going to treat on the topic quadratic root of equation. That's the root of quadratic what equation. That is roots of quadratic equation. That is roots of quadratic equation. As you view, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. So let's take example. Okay, we have the example. We said express 2 square minus 3x plus 6 is equals to 0. Has two roots, alpha plus beta. Obtain a quadratic equation in x which has roots I, alpha square and beta square. Alpha cube and beta cube. So you take your solution. So the equation is 2x square minus 3x plus 6 is equals to 0. That is your equation. And the root I, we are working on I. The root are alpha square and beta square. So from symmetric rule, if you have alpha square plus beta square will be equals to alpha plus beta in square minus 2 alpha beta. That is alpha plus beta is equals to minus b over a, and alpha beta is c over a. So we're going to work on that. We have this one become minus, this one become minus. So if you have alpha beta, that's alpha plus beta square minus 2a, that's the equation. So we call it equation 1. And alpha beta is this. Alpha plus beta is minus b over a, while alpha beta is c over a. So substitute this into this equation 1. Substitute alpha plus beta and alpha beta into equation 1. So if you substitute it into equation 1, we have minus b over a in square minus 2 c over a. So what do we do? All right, so this is equation. This is by substituting into this equation we have this. But remember, what we have here is b over a, c over, we have alphabet. So we are going to look back to our equation. Okay, this is equation 1. So let's call this one equation 2. So let's call it equation 2. So now let's recall back from our equation 1. Equation 1, we have a real numbers in the equation. We have a real numbers. So from, if you can cite or if you can recall from quadratic equation, which is ax square plus bx plus c is equals to what? 0. Now we are going to compare this equation to what? To our equation 1. We're going to compare this equation to our equation 1. So if you compare that, our a is what? 2. Our b is what? Minus 3. And our c is what? Is 6. So substitute it into this. So we got to substitute it into that equation. So after comparing that, we have A as our 2, B as our minus 3, and C our. So we are going to put it into this equation here. So if we do that, we have minus B is minus 3 and is in square over A is what? 2 minus 2 times our C is what? 6 over A is what? 2. So this can be minus times minus will give you plus. So 3 square will give you 9 over 2 minus 2 can cancel 2. We have 6. Can call it over 1. So let's find the LCM of this. LCM can be 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times 9 is 9. Minus 2 divided by 1 is 2. 2 times 16. Sorry, 2 times is 12. So that's equal to 9 minus will give you 3. That will give you 9 minus 12 will give you minus 3 over 2. Also, therefore, alpha plus beta will be equals to minus 3 over 2. Then alpha beta, remember that alpha beta is C over A. Look at it. Alpha beta is C over A. So we now have C over A, which is equal to 6 over 2 will give you 3. So alpha beta is what? Therefore, A plus, therefore, therefore, A plus beta, that's alpha plus beta, will give you minus 3 over 2, and alpha beta will give you 3. So that is the two roots. The roots become minus 3 over 2 and what? 3. So that's for that. Then we also have the second part of it. That's III. The III is, the roots are what? They say the roots are, pause.